Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now March 28th of 2024, and given that all divisions over at the Walt Disney Company are actively failing due to Bob Iger's lack of leadership skills, but it's not just limited to that, it is of course all due to the fact of how deliberate everything really is by Disney when it comes to their overall agenda getting spilled into all things Marvel, everything Star Wars, and just Disney flat out in general. Now, focusing on Deadpool 3, alright, also known as Deadpool and Wolverine, this is the one film, and I know I've said this before, that Disney is 100% banking on of at least making a decent profit at the box office around the entire world, but at the same exact time, they are pushing their DEI agenda for the upcoming reshoots that are set to begin by this, of course, April, that will last until May. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Deadpool 3 is that we know that there's been a lot of drama happening behind the scenes revolving around those like Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Sean Levy, Rhett Reese, and Paul Wernick all going up against the Disney heads. And now when it actually involves Joy Behar, the scenario gets even more serious than we originally thought. Now there's been a lot of things happening with The View and how Ryan Reynolds recently stepped down from even appearing on that show to promote Deadpool 3. This has actually created a chain reaction of many series of drama-driven moments behind, of course, the scenes over at Marvel Studios and the Walt Disney Company and everything that Bob Iger and Kevin are trying to level out. However, on top of all of this, with, of course, the Deadpool 3 drama still getting worse behind the scenes ahead of the looming reshoots that Ryan and crew are desperately attempting to alter to prevent Bob Iger and Kevin Feige from using their DEI agenda, one major development now has much to do with Joy Behar and how she is taking action against Ryan Reynolds after he of course stepped down from appearing on various episodes for The View to promote Deadpool 3. Now, this is all due in part to how Behar had a $10 million deal that was initially promised by the Walt Disney Company and the heads. The most recent update surrounding the situation now involves how Behar is already warning Disney, and specifically Ryan Reynolds, that she is willing to discuss about all the drama happening with the production for Deadpool 3 and the issue related to those like Ryan Reynolds refusing to appear on The View to promote the film. Now, these warnings were just recently given out by Behar to those like Bob Iger and other Disney executives and higher-ups at the company. However, of course, in addition to this, Behar is also putting full blame on Ryan Reynolds for the one starting the entire situation, already presenting a legal warning toward those like Ryan and some of the Disney higher-ups, for, of course, this all leading to a major loss in her payout, the $10 million payout, with both ABC and the Walt Disney Company. The issues with Behar recently escalated after Ryan convinced those like Hugh Jackman and even director Sean Levy to step down from ever appearing on The View in June, leading into July to market the film. Right now, Behar is already giving Disney an ultimatum that if Reynolds is not brought onto her show and her payout is not reinstated, either or she is now in pursuit of exposing all the drama between the creatives behind the film, including Ryan Reynolds and even some of the actors that decided to refuse to appear on the show for her one-on-one interview with them. To make matters worse of this entire scenario now is that Behar is already creating trouble with the Disney heads as they are beginning to become increasingly overwhelmed with her unrealistic demands, even going as far to demand Disney to punish those like Ryan Reynolds for creating the trend of many members of Deadpool 3 opting out of the marketing for the film via The View or other ABC-run programs like Jimmy Kimmel Live. Bob Iger is actively attempting to balance the situation by pressuring Reynolds to go on The View. However, Reynolds, rightfully so, is not taking it at all and is standing his ground. This all came after how Behar as well as Iger wanted to discuss the importance of DEI during the interviews with Jackman, Reynolds, as well as Levy, and other actors as well and creatives involved in the film. Already Iger and Fiege are heading into full-on damage control, and an emergency meeting recently took place between Iger and the board about the situation after refusing to pay Behar the $10 million payout. That included a series of 5 episodes of The View, doing interviews with Ryan, Hugh, and other members of the Deadpool 3 film, such as the actors, directors, and writers, where they would all be dressed up as their characters, or, of course, on the creative end of things, discussing everything that went into the creation of the film on the set. Now, guys, let me just stop here for one moment before I move on. Now, again, Behar really is coming across like a overly demanding, egotistical maniac, to the point where even Disney's beginning to question themselves, why is she still a Disney hire, right? So, when you look at a show like The View, I keep bringing this up, they are making the #1 mistake here. They are going toward the wrong audience, the wrong demographic. Who watches The View? Well, not Deadpool fans, and most certainly not Marvel or Star Wars fans at that, let alone just men in general. Just do not tune into The View. I mean, whatever ones do, I hope you guys really do switch to a different program. But when you look at The View in and of itself, I mean, it is a terrible show. It is nothing more than a destination for loudmouths like Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg to spew out all that nonsense. That's why I call The View the spew. And when you look at this overall ABC-run program, and when you look at Joy Behar as an individual, this just goes to show you how high her ego really is and how caught up in her mind she really is. So she's going as far to take legal action, making those warnings at the Disney heads and even Ryan specifically. She's demanding this or that unless she is willing to discuss all about this drama on The View, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Now, what's interesting about this further, alright, to conclude, this plan was to also increase the ratings for The View by getting Ryan on there, which currently remains stagnant and only to a certain demographic. Something Bob Iger has been desperately trying to reach a wider global audience for The View for the past 6 months now. Behar is reportedly warning to go public with the drama by this May if nothing is resolved with her $10 million payout and or getting members of Deadpool 3 on The View. Now again, even if you get them on The View, how is this going to increase ratings? It's just so... it just doesn't work at all. When you bring people like Ryan and Hugh on there, nobody's going to tune into it because nobody really watches The View. Like I said before, no Marvel fan or Star Wars fan or just any fan like that is not the right target audience when you're bringing people onto that show. So I think that Bob Iger is just desperate at this point. He doesn't know what to do, and that's exactly why he was going toward The View. He wanted to save it. He wanted to make it reach a wider global audience. He wanted to increase the ratings. He believed that those 5 episodes were going to do something. I, however, beg to differ. I think that those 5 episodes, if anything, would have only created a more stagnant mess than ever before, because they would have been surprised that getting people like Ryan, Hugh, and others on there probably would have done nothing anyway, because nobody watches that show to begin with. So, again, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this ongoing scenario with Joy Behar and the Deadpool 3 drama, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.